in me. The man is in me. The man is in me. You can't do nothing to me. You can't do nothing. You can kill me, but I'll be better off. You can't do nothing. And as we say it in Isaiah 14, when you look upon Satan, you're going to say, that's the man? That little guy right there caused all this problem? All these wars, all these situations? Why, he ain't nothing. He ain't a thing. But you got to have confidence in God. You got to get rid of the problems, people, or we ain't going nowhere. We're not going to have the liberty. You're not going to get to that place battling over circumcision, uncircumcision, battling over problem or situation. You're not going to have liberty with God, because when you got that freedom with God and you got that confidence with God, you know everything's going to be all right. No matter what you're facing. You got that confidence. You got that liberty. You got that walk about you. And there's something about you as you go that people looks at you, they'll stop and go, what is it about that person? They got that confidence. They got something. There's something about them. And sinners will flee. They'll say, man, God's in them. God's in them. And then we can get to the place of real love. We can get to the place of really reaching with love to our neighbor. We'll want to love. We'll want to do these things because you can't help but love. God is love, and when you're close to God, you can't help but love. You can't help but do it. And if we try to do it ourselves, that's what Paul's saying. If you're trying to fulfill the law yourself, you're doing away with grace. You're doing away with Jesus. You're doing away with it. You need to quit trying to do the flipper thing with the pinball machine, in other words, what he's saying. Because you're doing away with the grace of God. You're doing away with Jesus fixing your problem. You're doing away with Him taking care of it. You're doing away with all of it. And you're trying to fix it yourself. But by you trying to fix it yourself, is it working? Or is it getting worse? Is it working? Is everything working fine? Because we got these great situations in our mind that we figure out, boy, if this right here happened, boy, everybody would be in great shape. Man, it'd work out great. And God's going, no, it wouldn't. And people keep crying and whining and begging and pleading until they get what they want, like somebody wanting a big fancy house, $500,000 house. Lord, please, just like that woman coming to the unrighteous judge. Please let me have it, let me have it. But the Lord knows that the economy is going to crash in 2 years, and He gives it to them. And they got it, and then 2 years down the road, but Lord, I need a job now. And He said, well, you shouldn't have asked for the house. I know you shouldn't have had it, but you kept whining, you little whiny bag. I give it to you, now quit crying. Figure out how you're going to pay for it. You didn't have no faith in me, you didn't trust me, you did it your way. Now you figure it out. You got what you wanted, figure it out. You whined and cried till you got it. I give it to you. Are you enjoying it now? Or has it caused you more problems? When we look at our life, we're full of this. Trying to solve and beg and whine. And we figure, Lord, if you do this, it'll solve this. If you do this, God, it'll solve that. When God's saying, let me do what I need to do. Have confidence in my plan. Have confidence in my ability. And quit trying to figure everything out. And let me do what I need to do so that your heart can be free and your mind can be free. Then you can hear me. And He may be trying to explain a lot of things to you that you've been asking God, saying, God, what's going on? And the Spirit may be speaking to you all day long, but your mind and your heart is so full of problems that you can't hear it. You can't get it. Is your heart full of problems now? It's a heart problem. And out of the heart, it's coming back into the mind. And it's coming back forward that we can't be free. We can't have liberty. And if we can't have liberty, Paul says you can't love one another. Without liberty, without confidence, you can't have liberty. Without liberty, you can't love your neighbor as yourself. You can't break, you can't do it. You can't. And that's what he's explaining here. What happened to that liberty you had? How'd you end up in this bondage? How'd you end up there? Circumcision, uncircumcision. These problems, these situations. A little leaven leavens the lump. It built into a big situation. Your heart got full of it. It got full of all these troubles. It got full of all these problems. You lost your confidence in God. You don't think He can fix it, so you try to fix it yourself. When what you need to do is just have confidence in Him. Get your liberty back in God and get these situations so you can love. And we can have that. But you're not going to do it until you get these out of the way. Until you stop trying to fight the problems and situations and give them to God, you're not going to have liberty. You may be loving the best ability you know how, but you're not going to have that God love. That ability to really love. A real doer. A real person that has that real love no matter what for one another. Until you get this out of the way. And the only way you get these things out of the way is just say, I got to take my hands off the flippers. I got to let it go. God, I got to give it to you. I got to. Because I can't solve it. And I'm going to beg and plead for something that's going to create me more trouble. I am. I'm going to beg and plead that you do this and that because I know how it's going to work out. God, I know. And He's sitting there going, no, you don't. You don't have a clue. You don't have a clue. And I'd give you the understanding I probably am, but you can't hear it because you are so full of circumcision and uncircumcision. Well, how are you tonight? Are you confident? Do you really have that confidence in God that everything is going to be all right? Or are you trying to fix the problems around you? Are you trying to solve them? Are you trying to see things and do things? And then you wonder why you don't have liberty with God. Why you don't have freedom. And why we have 24/7 access to preaching and Word. We have abilities and we all have 15 Bibles at our house and etc. But we cannot have the powers of God. We cannot have the things that He promised to us. Your heart's full of it. It's full of all these situations. And your mind's full of it. When you come to church, you're not excited. We go through our routines. We go back to our same seats. We don't change nothing much. We just go through the man-made ways as we sin. I'm tired of the same old thing. I want to change it. I want to make it different. Well, you can. Tonight, you got to give it to God. And let Him clean your heart out with all this. And just give it to Him. Just give it to Him. Quit trying to figure it out. Quit letting the enemy use it against you. Because there ain't no liberty in it. There ain't nothing but problems. And that's where we're at. And that's what God wants me to tell you. Our answer is liberty. Our answer is freedom. But you can't have it with circumcision and uncircumcision. Because once you begin to ponder it, it becomes huge. And once it's in the heart, it comes into the mind. Back and forth. And bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And the enemy wants to make sure it gets bigger. Are you free tonight? You got confidence in God tonight? In all that He's doing? Do you really believe with God everything is going to be all right? Do you really believe that? Do you have that confidence tonight? Do we? Well, I'll give you what the Lord wanted you to have tonight. Now it's up to you. It's up to me. We can give it to God tonight. We can give it to Him tomorrow, and when it comes back the next day, we can give it to God. It's up to us, or we can keep trying to battle it.